I will wholeheartedly tell you, I've never studied once in my life when it comes to anything with school.
What got me started with like the money side of things and just business in general was this YouTube video from Graham Stefan.
Right, just a written contract,
Yep.
but it looked extremely professional, way more than what we currently use now. So I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. Eventually went through, and I told him, I was like, yeah, just take out whatever you don't like. And he was like, with what? I was like, you got white out? He was like, I mean, yeah. I was like, white it out. I was like, all right. I was like, yeah, no, we should be good then. I was like, how much do you need for EMD? He was like, well, my realtor told me we should do like 1.5%. I was like, so we're talking like $3,000. He was like, I mean, yeah, is that a problem? I was like, no, I'll figure it out.
Love Good Hustle, episode 26. We are already starting off with really funny conversations.
Oh, yeah.
And
Narcolepsy.
we have basically a collaboration today. So we have Skyler and Stefanie here.
Hello.
From Name the Podcast.
Investors Unite.
And
Investors
they
Unite.
normally sit at this side of the table.
You're in my chair.
Yeah.
I'm in Skyler's chair.
I got Stephanie's
So,
chair.
and he's in Stephanie's chair, and you're technically in our guest chair. So you are our guest today, which is
Very
really
strange to
exciting.
be on this side.
Yes,
It
they,
is.
they are
Yeah.
officially in the hot seat for once.
Yeah.
The hot seat.
So kind of the idea was, well, why don't you tell us what we do first?
Yeah, so if you guys didn't know already, John and I are both realtors here in central Pennsylvania. So if you're looking to buy or sell or invest or anything like that, please give us a call. We'd love to help you. We help a lot of people here in central PA.
Also owns a title company.
Yes.
Yeah.
Reach out to them for that.
Exactly.
Deer Valley
And,
Land Transfer.
There you go.
So we did a collaboration today because we get to run into these two all the time while we're sitting here filming, and it's really cool because I've gotten to watch both their videos, and it's been really fun. Like I watched a couple today on the golf course to show my buddy who we were doing the podcast with, and we have a couple goals today. It is kind of just to kind of get a backstory on them, kind of talk about the differences that we do in this business because we're all in real estate.
Yep.
And the second big goal is to make sure Skyler does not fall asleep.
Yeah.
Because apparently he's a narcoleptic and he can't stay awake. And that's why we were laughing when we started the show because we were telling some pretty funny stories. So
Yeah. John, just say like back in my day a whole bunch of times, you'll put him right to sleep.
Oh, back in my
know.
day. So we got.
Start snoring.
I'm not going to say
We
her
used to
name
push a
or
hoop with
her
a stick.
age, but 20-something, 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 30, and 44. So
Sorry, what was that?
hello. So we used to have phones that had cords.
Really?
Yeah.
He's already fallen asleep. He's like, please stop.
And if you wanted to talk to your friends, you had to take the phone out of the kitchen. Then you went.
Do you have one of the spinny things too?
We definitely had one of
Oh,
those.
Jesus.
Yeah, we definitely had one of those.
Did you ever do
My
the thing with the cans with like the string? in the middle?
Is that so weird how that actually works? I was just talking to my buddy about this the other
It doesn't
day.
really work.
No, it does.
Does
it?
that work?
Yeah, like the vibrations travel down the string.
Down
like-
the string.
Yeah, you ever watch Mythbusters?
Oh, yes.
I'm pretty sure they had that on.
Well, they
there.
had that in the movie Grown Ups. They did the string.
Yeah,
in
I remember
Grown
that part too.
Ups. Yeah.
I could be completely wrong
Maze.
though.
So,
Don't hold me to that.
so I did find a little bit about you both prior to you guys like coming in, just kind of doing some back history on you. But
I don't know how you found anything about me.
I know,
look
he
all
doesn't
over.
post at all.
I look everywhere.
I hide.
I look everywhere. My buddy's a detective, so and
That's not good. What'd you find out?
nothing worse than I've ever done. So
Okay,
let's
cool.
just put it that way. But you know, when I got into the podcast, it was kind of cool because I'm like, hey, I've been asking these people to do it for a while. Nobody wanted to do it. Nobody wanted to do it because we're all old. And then finally, I got this young guy. He's like,
Yeah.
I'll do it. And I
Not
was
old
like,
yet.
"Perfect."
Close enough.
He's getting there. But, and then he actually is the one that introduced me to you guys and told me about your podcast. And, you know, following you guys on YouTube and, you know, you have 18,000 plus followers. We're relatively new to the game. But you guys, like I said, are in the real estate game just like us, but you do it so much differently. And it's such a different way. But the things that you're doing, especially for younger people that are in your age bracket and kind of teaching and coaching, it's really cool.
Yeah.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's got to be inspiring for, I'd imagine, a lot of young people like your guys' age are not doing anything to the level you guys are doing yet. I mean, it's pretty insane.
Yeah, they just got out of college.
Right, I know, yeah. And we'll talk about your guys' journeys, but I guess kind of starting off, can you tell us who you guys were as even younger people? I know you're still young right now, but who you guys were in middle school and high school and where you guys thought you were going?
You want to start it off?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I guess in middle school, it's crazy to believe it, but I was a so-called like prankster or something. You know, I would do like challenges and stuff. That's actually what got me into YouTube. I reached out to a friend of mine. I was like, yeah, we should start a YouTube channel just for the fun of it. because I saw like a lot of YouTubers would get paid a crazy amount of money. And we started doing pranks and stuff, and then, you know, doing that in middle school. Then I did it in high school. And yeah, that's been like my journey within, you know, that. But then it led to real estate. I don't know if you want me to dive into the real estate side of
course.
things. So I honestly did not have the focus of real estate when I was in high school. Me and Skyler did work at the same job together, Get Air Trampoline Park during.
Oh, you guys worked to Get Air?
Yeah.
No way. That's
first job.
awesome.
Yeah.
We got air when I was a kid with a pogo stick.
So you're putting Skyler to sleep again?
Nodding off. I don't think that's boxing. So
Pogo stick.
Yeah.
No, I love pogo sticks.
I know. Yeah. It's been a minute since I had one. They got to bring this back.
We should. We can make a
cool.
TikTok.
They probably
of
still
pogo
got
sticks.
I saw one in the garage. I did photos at yesterday, so it's cool.
No way.
I swear.
Did you jump on it?
I did not, but Brian Beers did. So.
Oh, shoot. Okay.
So how old were you guys when you were working at Get Air?
16.
Yeah, was that like 10th grade?
Oh, no. We were driving. 11th.
Okay.
Yeah, 11th. I think.
I don't even know.
I quit the summer before I went to college.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Same.
So you guys both worked there for a little bit of time.
Right.
Over
right.
a year.
Yeah. So we worked there for a good amount of time. And then like on our mics, we would talk about like $1 million listing and stuff. And we would talk about real estate, but not like.
To the extent that we do.
Yeah,
now,
we didn't have
obviously.
like the desire to get real estate license or stuff like that. But then I eventually went off to college, Lock Haven University.
Which is a great school.
Yeah. Yeah. You know,
It's a great school. I like it's very pretty up there if you want to be in the middle of nowhere for 4 years.
yeah. I mean, I didn't experience it too much. I was there for 5 days.
I was gonna.
Oh, that's all you did?
Yeah.
Good for you.
Yeah. I called my mom. I was
Listen,
like, you got to pick me up.
There's nothing wrong with you. If you know, you know.
Right.
Like I went to college. You said most people are out of college. I was in college for like 7 years. I have like associate's degrees. Like I didn't do it the right way. Now everything worked out the way it's supposed to.
Yeah.
But for you to have the thinking forward mind of like, yeah, 5 days, it ain't for me,
Right.
and not waste a ton of money.
Yeah.
That was a great idea.
Hey, it was God, honestly.
100%. Yep.
He was like, this is not your path. And, you know, I called my mom. I was like, you got to come pick me up. She's like, you still have to go to school. So literally that same day, she took me from Lock Haven all the way to Harrisburg Area Community College. Signed up. I was there for a year and a half. Had that same feeling like God wants me to go a different path. So that's when I told my parents I'm dropping out of college. And at that time, I was doing like drop shipping stuff where I was like,
Oh, that's cool.
getting stuff from China super cheap, selling it.
I looked into
you
that.
know?
I looked into the Amazon FBA stuff. And all that stuff too. Yep.
So I was, you know, doing that on the side, thinking I'm going to make a quick 6 figures from that. My parents were like, you got to have a game plan too if you are, you know, dropping out. So that's when I got a warehouse job working Monday through Friday.
That's tough work, man.
Yeah. Honestly, I think I prefer that over Get Air Trampoline Park.
Really?
Do you have
Yeah.
a great camaraderie there? Like work with some cool people though?
At the
It
warehouse?
was literally
Yeah.
just 4 of us. Like,
Oh.
it was so small.
Wait,
yeah.
did you work there too?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, it was different. I would like pack lavender or just literally just packaging and labeling.
I
It was
can
so
still
easy.
smell it.
Yeah, literally. Like, it's still in my nose. I'm allergic to it now. Like,
So, Skyler, what was your kind of beginning into this whole thing too? And when did you? I guess you met at Get Air, but can you take us to that point?
No, I mean, we met
yeah, we met before Get
Middle
Air.
school.
elementary school.
Oh,
wow, okay.
that's
Yeah.
awesome. So like 6 years ago.
First grade or
You know, yeah.
Yeah, last year in first grade.
Yeah, we've escalated quickly. I'll be dead by tomorrow.
Benjamin Button over there.
No, I mean, do you want me to start off like middle school time frame?
Yeah.
So growing up, I'm the oldest of 5 kids, started out. So always had like some responsibilities at home when it comes to watching the younger siblings, making sure everyone gets food, whatnot, everything like that. So I was also a little bit of a badass in the house. Like I had a little anger problems growing up. Specifically between me and my mom, we would bicker and butt heads a lot, and
Yeah.
we're both Irish, and like the anger problems they're just there.
I've got in your blood.
I've come down tremendously, honestly. And so is she. We have a fantastic relationship now. Like, I love her to death. But in school, I was this, like, at least for elementary school, middle school, and majority of high school, I'd say, like, I was, like, a really good student, actually. I'd be in there, typically all A's and B's. I made distinguished honors all 4 years that I was there. And it's not even though, like, I will wholeheartedly tell you, I've never studied once in my life when it comes to anything with school. I think it was just like I was really naturally gifted when it comes to anything like that, especially math. Math was like my forte.
I love math.
Right. So I did that. So everything there was cool. And then I was a very outgoing person as well. Like I always was like part of the popular kids, like had big friend groups, everything like that. But also since I was a little bit more intelligent, I was in like the nerdy group too. So I feel like I had like a wide array of friend groups. Like it wasn't like one specific niche that I fit in because I was also an athlete too. So I played soccer, football, baseball for a majority of my life. So it was like, I just honestly love school. I tell people this all the time. Like, dude, if I could go back to high school right now, I swear to God.
We had a good class.
I loved it. It was so fun. And yeah, I mean, I knew that in middle school, that's when we started, like, I started watching the $1 Million Listing Show, like all the HGTVs, Flip or Flop, that kind of thing.
We had color TV in middle school.
Did you?
It was nice. My brother bought a color TV, 19-inch for $75 from a place. $75, but it was like a tube.
Was it one you had to crank, like the ones for camping and all?
Oh,
that?
we had a gerbil run it in the back.
No, there you go.
They weren't flat back in those days, were they?
No, it was a curved screen.
Very curvy.
It was 19
Big
inches,
fat boy.
and they're square.
It was like box, right?
That was awesome.
They
My
weigh like 6
grandparents'
million
TV
pounds.
sat on the floor in a wooden. Like, have you seen the wooden TVs?
I have,
Yep.
Yeah, freaking amazing.
Oh yeah, with the houses we buy, we
I was
see
gonna
it
say
all.
that.
Oh yeah, you guys. Okay,
We're
keep
in
going.
all
I'm
these
sorry.
things. Yeah.
Those are not $1 Million Listing ready. Those
Oh
ones.
no,
No, not at all.
no.
Yeah, so I started getting I became intrigued with houses, just overall. And, okay, so a little funny backstory. I don't know if this leads to entrepreneurship in any kind of way, but I've always been like obsessed with money to the point that I had a piggy bank and, you know, any piece of change I found on the ground, I go home, throw it in there every day. And every single morning I would wake up extra early before school and everything just to open up my piggy bank, dump it all out and count it.
Really?
Every single morning. I was obsessed with seeing what money I had.
In high school too.
No, not
Oh, I was gonna say.
He still counts it.
now we're just in the negatives. No. So it's like something that I've always been into. But I noticed while watching these shows, the amount of money that these people were making, especially like these big brokers, whatnot.
Oh yeah.
Beverly Hills, Los Angeles, you know.
Oppenheim Group and like
Exactly.
Sunset, all that.
Exactly,
those
yeah.
shows.
I mean,
Yeah.
they're bringing in $100,000 commissions left and right.
Watch none of this.
Yeah.
I've seen
John's
it.
not
Ever
into
watch
Selling
Selling Sunset?
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Oh no,
My wife and I binge it in like one night. Like,
You know,
Yeah,
do you
same.
know Graham
Literally
Stefan?
same.
yeah.
I have no idea what that is.
You don't know Graham Stefan?
That's
So-
a person.
We'll get into that, but that's how I got into real
Whoa,
estate.
that's pretty
Really?
bad.
Yes,
Okay.
that's
Is it
why.
a
That's
TV
why I got into real
That's,
estate.
dude, I was watching
Yeah,
him
yeah.
since
Like
middle
a
school.
YouTuber.
I have always
YouTuber.
Oh, so like for me,
to me.
I don't ever watch real estate programs. I've done real estate for 19 years. Absolutely adore my career.
Yeah.
But when I step in the door of the house, I don't.
He's done with real estate.
Right.
Now, unless I'm writing offers, I love negotiating, writing offers, doing listings. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
But like, I'm the same thing as like, I tell people, do you think a surgeon goes home and watches ER?
The good doctor.
They definitely watch Grey's Anatomy.
Grey's Anatomy for sure.
100%. The Good Doctor, that I like that show.
I like
Yeah.
the
Never
Good
seen a
Doctor,
full
too.
episode, but that's the kid.
It's pretty
That
good.
was in
Yeah.
Charlie and the Fact.
Oh, I
Yeah,
don't
he
know.
plays like this autistic doctor.
Yeah,
he's
extremely
awesome.
smart. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. I love that program. Anyway, so like for me, like you guys talk about these shows, because everybody says to me, "Oh, you're real estate selling." I've heard of Selling Sunset, $1 Million Listing. Have you seen this? Have you seen? I was like, no.
Well, that's your homework tonight.
Yeah, there's your homework. You got to watch Selling Sunset with Taylor.
Well, let me get through the next 20 minutes of the movie I started last night.
There you go.
I'll break that up in about 6 days. So
But yeah, that's so funny you guys mentioned Graham Stefan because that's actually why I started getting into real estate. Is I really got into finance whenever I was in college because I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I was so confused. I knew I wanted to do something in business, and like you guys, I was kind of interested in finance. I was interested in that realm, that world, right? But I started listening to Dave Ramsey. I started watching Graham Stefan. I got into all that stuff, and I noticed both of them made their money in real estate first.
Right. Yeah.
And I was like, well, I should check that out. I should see what that's all
So,
about. And that's how I got
Kind
into
of the same, along the same lines for me. It was like, I remember I got my very first iPad. I didn't know what to watch on YouTube, so I wanted to watch How to Make Money. Elementary school. It
Yeah.
was like, 5th grade or so. And found Graham Stefan. It was like his very
I need to
early,
see this.
That's
Early
honestly
deal.
crazy because
early on videos, yeah.
yeah, because for me, like what got me started with like the money side of things and just business in general was this YouTube video from Graham Stefan, and he had like 4 other people in it, 4 other guys. They had different businesses, you know, Graham's with the, you know, finance side. Someone else was Amazon FBA. Someone else was drop shipping.
Yep.
And literally after watching that, I stayed up to like 2 a.m. just doing research. My brain was just going. I
turning.
couldn't sleep.
That's exactly how I was too.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because all of your stories are very similar. Like for me, you know, everybody that sees the show or whatever, they know I was a drug addict and I was working at a trucking company. I was an operations manager person. I was miserable. I was 5 days a week in a cubicle and I wanted to die. Like in the days that I went to work, I was still awake from using. It's like I'd sit in a cubicle for 10 hours,
Jeez.
still awake from the day before.
Yeah.
Like just white knuckling through the day. And then one day I was like, I need to get into sales. People tell me I should be in sales. I'm a good person. Like I talk to people. I'm really nice to people.
Right.
So I was like, I'm going to either go sell Hummers because they had a Hummer dealership down here where ABC is,
Yeah.
or I want to sell real estate. So I called my dad and I was like, hey, and I didn't know anything about real estate except the building that we rented our apartment from was really cool because you like drove underneath it. It was a Remax building in the Carlisle Pike, and you drove underneath it. And it was this cool building, and that was the only thing I knew about real estate. Like knew nothing.
Yeah.
And I took classes, and that was like that's how I got started. Now the first 2 years were rough because I was still active using and drinking and whatever, but that's how I got started. Like, and I was handed a book, and it was like, here's a book called Selling Real Estate. I was sitting in that office, and it was called The Bullpen, and it was a little cubicle inside, like just a bunch of cubicles, no windows, and that's where I was told to go sell real estate.
Wow. And
that's
how
how I
long ago was
19 years ago.
that? 19. Okay.
Yeah, so this was, this is the start of my 19th year, so 19 years ago.
Wow.
So we had, Paragon was our MLS, which was awesome. I used to love this thing. But everything that we did for contracts was handwritten, and it was on that carbon paper. So it's like 6 layers. We've talked about that.
First episode, we talked about carbon paper.
So hard.
Oh, geez.
And I worked with, shout out to Andy Saft. Andy Saft's in our
Oh,
office.
we love Andy.
Yeah, shout out to Andy. Like gave me a chance just to kind of help him out because he saw something in me. And he was actually one of the most supportive people when I went to rehab, because I went to rehab. We didn't tell people in my brokerage, but I went to a 30-day treatment right down the street in Lemoyne. I wanted to go to Florida, but that wasn't.
Oh.
I was about to say, so you were in the business of real estate for 3 years until you officially...
2 years. This is, like I said, the start of my 19th year, but 2 years,
Okay.
Basically two full years before I actually got help. Actually, a little more than 2 years, but yeah, I was a mess the first couple of years, and I was doing okay. Sold 8 houses. Then my second year, I sold 15 houses. But my third year, I sold like 30 homes.
Wow.
But it wasn't easy. And then, I went into rehab. But with Andy Saft, I had to write so many offers because I was working with like PA deals and different companies, and it was like all these Harrisburg City properties, which was fine. But I was like writing offer after offer, and it was like I had to write 10 a day, and it's like, like it was crazy. My one arm looked like Popeye from writing so much for Andy Saft. But like it's funny how but that's our age gap is really, it's 20 years. Yeah, that's a generational age gap.
Oh,
yeah, we just
almost double
auto-populate
me.
everything now with the
Oh, yeah.
offers.
I can't even imagine what it would have been like had we not had something like YouTube or Google or whatever to figure this stuff out. Because I feel like we get a giant head start because of that. Genuinely.
Yeah, for sure. I didn't remember my first computer.
Yeah.
I know I had one when I lived in Florida in 2002, but I don't remember my first real estate computer. I remember I had a couple different offices and I did have a computer, but in my first smartphone, do you guys know what a BlackBerry is?
Of course.
Yeah.
I love playing that one game where you roll the ball and then it's
I
like,
had a BlackBerry
you gotta hit
Pearl.
the ball off of it.
Like that was my
what I'm
first.
talking
I didn't
about?
get an iPhone till 2000.
I kind of miss BlackBerry.
Yeah.
That was a good phone.
Yeah, 2009.
I played games on that thing.
Wow.
Also.
Yeah, that thing was awesome.
And the one with the flip keyboard that spun around.
I didn't have that one.
I love that was my favorite phone I ever had. I think it was an LG Room.
I had the
or
one that
something
was like a
flipped out.
slide.
So I used to pay. So I used to drop ship too.
Did you?
I was a street pharmacist. Not funny, but
Street pharmacist.
but I tell jokes. So but it was a pager and like a payphone. Like that's what
Okay.
you had to do. Like page somebody or they page you, and then I had a really
John,
cool
did you ever
pager.
have one of the things that went in your ear so you could tap it and be on the phone all the
Oh
time?
yeah, that
no, I
long
was
thing.
never
Yeah,
one of
you know
those.
what I'm talking about? There's realtors that had
No, but I had a phone. I always had.
still
I thought
see
I was
people with
cool
those.
because I had a phone
really?
clip.
Yeah.
pop my phone
Just,
in there.
yeah.
Like straight. And I have my earrings and my diamonds and my bracelets, and I had a phone clip.
You should bring
and
the
like,
earrings back, Sean.
Yeah, you should.
there's still holes in there. I could definitely get some earrings in there. But
There you go.
it's so funny how different like one generation to the next. 'Cause honestly, like 20 years that's a long time, but it's not that long of a time.
No.
Right.
But the amount of like difference from our real estate market, because you guys are talking
Well, that's
about
just because we went through the .com bubble.
yeah,
Oh,
100%.
the complete, yeah. So it's like you went from pencil and paper to now we have a couple buttons on a keyboard that we push.
What was your guys' actual entry point into the real estate game? Because I know you guys started talking about it while you were at Get Air and all that stuff, but like, where did you really start thinking like, okay, no, we're actually gonna like really try this?
Yeah. I guess.
So
You want to go?
yeah, I mean, sure, I'll go. Just to finish up, kind of like what I was saying though, is sorry,
ADHD.
it's okay, it's okay. I got a little sidetracked. I feel like there's just so many different components to my life that played into me eventually becoming a real estate investor. One of them was watching Graham Stefan, so really got involved in finance as a kid, obsessed with money, kind of that piggy bank every day. Then started watching $1 Million Listings, got an idea of what being a broker was, real estate in general, and then also growing up, my family. Mom and stepdad and little siblings, anytime there's a new construction property, and we live right at the bottom of Mountaindale, so there's always new houses being built in Mountaindale. So anytime there's a new one being built, like we were breaking in there, we were like checking out this property. We wanted to figure out
this.
we want to figure out like the layout.
Don't do this
like,
at home. Especially if you're licensed.
what is this? You know, is this gonna be a kitchen? Is that gonna be a bathroom? Is this the laundry room? I'd just be obsessed with like trying to figure these things out. So in middle school, I remember specifically 6th grade Miss Lindsay's class. I'd be in there every single day. Pad of paper and pencil. I'm designing my own houses every single day. Like it was just like, I don't know. I probably did at least 300. Like
That's amazing.
That's pretty nerdy, man. That's pretty awesome.
I know. And then I'd go and smoke weed afterwards with the cool kids.
That's how you stay creative.
Also not recommended.
This one did not have a foyer until after. I'm just kidding.
He bought it from Johnny.
Y'all are like
Seeds in first grade.
Seeds and stems. I'm just kidding.
But yeah, as Stephanie was saying, then we ended up working at Get Air together. We both found that we had a liking for real estate, and we always knew each other like throughout school. We were never bestest of friends, but in Get Air we became a little bit closer. And then I know that you went to Lock Haven for 5 days. I went to California University of Pennsylvania
For 6 days.
No, I did 1 year.
Okay, good. All right.
I did do 1 year. I got kicked out by the end of it.
You got kicked out.
They said you can't come back.
Yeah.
Is that a story in itself? It sounds like a story.
I put it in one of our podcasts.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
I'll
If you want to find out why he got kicked out, listen to Investors United.
Go watch the David and Isaiah podcast.
I got kicked out of Maryland once.
Did
you?
Yeah.
The whole
whole
state?
100%. Do not come back.
No way.
For like a few week period, they were like, "We don't want you back here." So
Dang.
yeah, it was pretty hilarious. I was 17.
Got chased by an LT.
Wow.
It was awesome. Hey, look at us.
There you go.
We're doing
Who would have thought?
We're on the right track now.
I know. Hey, like she said, it's God's plan, though. Honestly,
God's plan.
Like,
There
when we've talked about this a lot, and we'll get back to you because I know you want to keep talking because I keep interrupting, but it's okay. But one of the things, like these doors open up for us, and we started walking through them instead of standing around them. That's when you're following God's plan. It's really starting to work out for a lot of things, especially for everybody sitting at this table. So
Most definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So from there, like I had actually started trying to do wholesaling before I went to college. Didn't really have too much luck with it. Then while I was in college, I actually got my first house under contract. I still didn't really know what the fuck I was doing. To be honest
Real
with
quick, can you explain what wholesaling is in like a 101 just for people listening? Because we haven't talked about it much.
Yeah, wholesaling is basically the process of going out, finding a dilapidated property, meeting with the seller, negotiating a price, getting it under contract, and then assigning that contract or selling that contract basically to an actual cash buying investor for a higher amount of money, where you would then make the difference.
Yep.
Right.
So kind of acting like a middleman.
Exactly. It's just like a Costco. They're all wholesalers, stuff like that.
So you're trying to get in the door, just being like, "Hey, listen, guys, I can get this off your plate. I'm going to get you what you need."
I'm here. I'm basically a problem solver. At the end of the day, it's like, listen, I can value your property based off of looking comparables. I have a good idea of what somebody could pay for this, and I can get this done in a less than a 30-day time frame. Unlike if you were to throw it on the market, obviously clean it out, try to fix it up a little bit, market at that top dollar, have showings, have the realtor have professional pictures. It's a longer process.
100%. Yeah.
It's just drop shipping for real estate.
Pretty much. Yeah. It does sound a lot like drop shipping.
Yeah.
Yeah. So your first one, how did you say, was this from your piggy bank?
No. No. I failed at the first one, by the way.
Okay. That's
So,
okay. Hey, listen, we all fail forward. Of
course.
It's one of the biggest things I'm learning.
I learned a lot. That was one of my
Well,
biggest
tell me about
learning
how that
lessons.
worked.
Sure. So I was 17 at the time. I wasn't even 18 yet. So I had to get my stepdad to go ahead and do all the paperwork for me and whatnot.
Wow, really? Wow.
Yeah, way back.
Same
That
thing
is
at
early,
17.
man.
It was early. And the way that I got this lead was actually I was part of a dart league for my church. So
No way.
every Tuesday
Dart league.
there was like
We should have darts here.
We should.
I know,
We should put
we-
tell Nate to
Man.
put darts up, Ben.
Yeah.
Write a note.
He said, yeah. All right.
I love darts.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
yeah. And this was like a baseball dart. So you stood like 21 feet away. There were these big old wooden darts, and then it was like the board itself was set up like a baseball field.
That's cool.
You had
That's
to
sick.
home run, you had to out, and then foul, and first, second,
That's
third.
kind of awesome.
Well, no, it was really cool actually. I loved it. That for at least 10 years. So it was a long time.
Wow.
But yeah, so one of my fellow church members over there, he was like, "Hey, I know that you want to get involved in this real estate thing, whatnot. My neighbor is actually looking to sell his house. He's been in Texas for the past 4 years. He just had this house sitting vacant, whatnot. You know, please feel free. I'll get in contact with him. Go check it out." It's like, okay, yeah, I'd love to. And at this point in time, I didn't really know shit yet. So I was like, yeah, I'll go take a look at this house. So I go there. I meet with one of his other neighbors. He had a key to the property. And I'm walking through this house. It's in pristine condition. It's like granite countertops, beautiful tile floors, beautiful hardwood flooring, everything. Like it's good to go. It's really nothing that needs done to this property for it to be market ready. So I'm like, I don't know if I can even get this thing at a discount. At this point in time, I had a good understanding of like what Zillow was and Realtor.com and looking at comparable properties already, just from YouTube videos and stuff.
Sure.
So I went through. I saw the property was worth about $280, and I asked him. I was like, "How much do you want for the property?" He's like, "Throw me a number." I was like, $180. He was like, "You gotta come up a little bit." I was like, "Well, shit. I guess he didn't turn me down right away. You know, let's see what we can do."
By the way, we don't swear on this podcast.
Oh, you don't?
I'm just kidding.
No, you're fine. You're fine.
He broke the barrier. You're good. I'm just kidding.
Ben was the first one.
On our podcast. We're not
He
supposed to
goes
swear.
crazy. Yeah.
And I try my best not to. It's just in my everyday speech.
So I have I speak a lot of profanities constantly.
Yeah.
And I've only ever said one on the podcast.
Really?
Yeah, like I'm really like
That's
it said
impressive. Good
Taylor
job.
has a crush on this John.
It's good for sponsorships.
Yeah, it is good for
It
sponsors.
is. But I'm just kidding, but keep going. So he said 180 and he said throw something better.
Yeah, so I said 180. He was like, can you do 220? I was like, meet in the middle, even though never meet in the middle. It's
Yeah.
a book. But
Yeah.
at that time, I know. It's
a good book.
Never split the difference.
Yes, that's what it is.
Difference.
Yeah.
I love that book.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I split the difference. I said 200. He said, all right, fine. I was like, oh my God, now what do I do? I was like, I'm going to go ahead and fill out this contract and I'll send it over to you. He's like, okay. Dude, I am so, like, even for my generation, I can't do technology. I suck at technology. Even now, she does everything on the computer.
Yeah.
I can't do shit. Like, I'm just, like, incompetent at figuring things.
I'm the tech guy on our team. For
Yeah.
sure.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm good at tech too. You
John's
know
not
that.
bad.
I'm not that bad. For my age, like
Yeah. You
I
can
do a
probably do
lot
more
of
than I
Still
can.
got the flip phone.
we're good.
The BlackBerry.
So I went through and I forget, it was like Cody Sperber, I think.
Oh, yeah.
I got this assignment contract from, and I went through. I didn't even read it. I just signed it. I wrote down the price, like the fill in the blanks, and I didn't email it to him or anything. I went to UPS. I got a fucking envelope. Threw it in there. I put in my earnest money deposit with it.
Oh, shoot.
Tell me about
What
it.
was the amount?
I just put $100 in there.
$100.
I know.
John's
money.
drawn.
Dude, I didn't know what I was doing.
No, to be honest, we do that still now.
What's that?
We do $100 EMD
Not
For
flying with
innovations,
John.
yeah, I could
For
say.
all of our properties.
for all,
yeah.
even the ones we buy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's all
Some,
100.
one time we did $1.
How do people accept that?
They don't care.
They don't.
Yeah, you tell them, hey, this is just open escrow. Like, the amount does not matter. They're just like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And it's very true.
Yeah.
If they like and trust you,
Yeah.
you're good.
Build that good rapport.
See, in our world, way different.
It's different. Yeah.
Way
Traditional.
different.
Yeah.
In
Typically, it's
resident,
like
yeah.
1%.
Like Trish, especially with him, like when he started on the team, he's like, I'm doing these EMDs for 2003. I'm like, whoa.
Well, so a lot of my first-time home buyers, for reference, don't have a lot of cash. That's why I do them that way.
Yeah.
Because they literally can't afford to do like a 10. They don't have 10,000 in the bank.
Right.
You know, a lot of them.
But
so.
I just listed a house for 600. Minimum EMD I'm going to accept on that's probably $30K.
For EMD.
No way.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
You should
Oh,
see
yeah,
some
you-
of the properties though. They're insane.
Oh shit.
Like you have to come at me. Like I would never even look at an EMD that's under $5,000.
Yeah.
I won't even look
For
at
everyone listening, that's a earnest money deposit. It's
Yeah.
a deposit check as you enter into a sale.
it. Yeah, for us, like, and that's awesome that you guys can do that. I think that's amazing. But like in my world,
Yeah, we don't have all the capital to throw at
It
that.
was, yeah, it's different.
But
for
it's different. You
residential
have
side,
you have
completely
a
different.
you have a client that's a 20% down buyer buying something at $700,000.
Yeah.
For them to say, listen, hey, here's 30 grand, hold this until settlement, give it, it's going to get credited back at settlement.
Yeah.
That's a different story.
You
That's
don't
a
want to
different
waste
cup of
time.
tea.
Right, and if they have the
serious.
money to put down, it's
Yeah.
gonna make their offer look more appealing.
Yeah.
Why not do it?
So you mailed this $100 bill check.
Nah, Bill.
Oh, you mailed a $100
so
bill?
risky.
Cash.
I love this. That's my grandma.
Dude, I was 17. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna figure this thing out. So yeah, I
And-
go to UPS, I get an envelope, throw the contract in there, paper clipped with a $100 bill, mailed it to his house. Next thing you know, I get a call back like I think it was like maybe almost a week later, 5 days or so. He was like, "Hey Skyler," he was like, "So I was just reading through your contract." And he was like, "Firstly, $100 is a little bit too cheap." I was like, "Okay." I was like, "Well, just let me know what you need." And he was like, "A couple other things just need adjusted on the contract." I was like, "Cool." He's still not like fully shooting me down, right? So I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." And he started talking this real estate lingo and or terminology. I had no idea what the hell he was saying. So I had my stepdad there, and my stepdad, he likes to think that he knows real estate, and he's gotten a lot better. He's studying a lot.
Yeah.
It's something he wants to do. Sure. But he had a better understanding than I did at the time. So we're there listening, and he's like, "Yeah, subsection 7A of paragraph 32, it's like something." I'm like,
Yeah.
now I realize an assignment is literally just 2 pages, and it's the most simple thing. It's like, why did I have this like 10-page contract? It's not a purchase.
You
and
had a
sale.
PAR agreement? Did you have like a Pennsylvania Association of Realtors agreement?
No.
Just a regular, just like
No.
a written contract.
Right,
Okay.
just a written contract,
Yep.
but it looked extremely professional, way more than what we currently use now. So I had no idea what the hell he was talking about. Eventually went through, and I told him, I was like, "Yeah, just take out whatever you don't like." And he was like, "With what?" I was like, "You got white out?" He was like, "I mean, yeah." I was like, "White it out."
Write it down.
He was like, "All right." I was like, "Yeah, no, we should be good then." I was like, "How much do you need for EMD?" He was like, "Oh, my realtor told me we should do like 1.5%. I was like, "So we're talking like $3,000. He was like, "I mean, yeah, is that a problem?" I was like, No, I'll figure it out. Dude, I didn't have $3,000.
Yeah, right.
I had some change in my piggy bank.
By the way, guys, if you're enjoying this episode of the Good Hustle podcast, please go ahead, leave a like, subscribe on the YouTube, and also we are on Spotify and Apple Podcasts now. So if you want to listen without the video part, you can do that.
Yep. And if you're looking for any real estate needs, whether you're buying, selling, or investing, please contact Zach or myself. Our numbers are below. Back to the podcast. Shaking it out. I know there's $3,000 in
I
there.
got 3 tokens from Chuck E. Cheese right here.
Come on, this counts. Eventually, somehow, I think my grandma. No. It was Brooke's uncle.
No way.
Brooke's uncle let me the money for this deal.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and went through once again. Sent just cash in an envelope.
Dang.
I know, right? And finally we open escrow. Everything's good. He sends it to he has his own title company. Whatnot.
Okay.
He opens it. He's like, "Yeah, this kid's buying this property for this price." They're just like, "Okay, cool." I'm like, "All right, time's ticking. I got to sell this thing." The issue is one of the parts he whited out is that I didn't have access to the property in that 30-day time.
Oh my gosh.
Right, like I was supposed to receive a key or something of the sort, at least somebody to let me into this property, and that's the part he whited out.
Right.
So I was like, well, fuck, like, how do I show people? So what I did, I didn't know what to do. So I got pictures. I met up with the guy one more time. I took some pictures, and I put a for sale by owner sign in the front yard. This
Is before you owned it.
Yeah. I never owned it.
I love it.
I didn't know what I was doing. I was trying anything I could just get this thing sold. I was like, it's worth $280 in its current condition. I was like, I got it for $200. I can make $40,000 off this. List it for $240, which realistically, like, that's actually not a bad deal. Someone's getting a $40,000 discount on a turnkey home. Right. So I put it out there, and then I started calling like all these investors from Craigslist, just anybody I could find who was like, we buy houses. So I went ahead, called them all up, and then they're like, well, we need access to property. I was like, can't do that. I was like, I can show you these pictures. I just got them. But not. Eventually, and moral of the story is I ran out of time. I told him I didn't know what I was doing in the end. I just need my money back so I can pay back my girlfriend's uncle. I'm sorry for wasting your time, but like, thank you for the experience.
Was he upset?
No, he was like, I understand. He was like, honestly,
Well, that's not. But honestly, that's a great learning experience.
it was.
Yeah.
It was my first step, like, into actually
probably learned
executing
so
some kind of
much
deal.
in that.
So much. I learned that I should not just send cash to some guy. I learned that we
By the
usually
way,
do this
if
via
you're
email.
looking for some cash, check his mailbox. If you see a red flag up, chances are there's cash in it.
Not anymore. Now we have this thing called technology that we use.
That's like
crazy.
a wire.
Yeah.
Do I just wrap the cash in wire? Is that what a wire is? It's a wire transfer.
So that was your first deal,
So that was the first intro.
first try at it.
Yeah, first try at it. And then,
So-
oh, go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
I'll try and make the second part short.
Yeah.
There was another house. It was actually my family's house. We were going into foreclosure. Pre-foreclosure is what we were currently in. And, times were tough at the house. It was like, I'm not going to go into details because that's like
It's okay.
more personal.
Yep, no big deal.
I don't mind, but my mom bitched at me pretty recently about something I said on a podcast. So I don't want to open up too much.
And we love you, Mom.
Yeah, we love you.
she's
We love moms.
Love you, Mom.
We love moms.
Love you, Mom. So anyways, tough times. And I asked them, I was like, well, what's your mortgage? I'm still currently in Pittsburgh at this time, like at college. They told me the remaining mortgage balance was like $90,000 and $91,000, I think, roughly. House at the time was valued around like $160 to $165. I was like, what price do you need? They're like, just pay off the mortgage. Like, get somebody, for that $90,000. I was like, so you're telling me if I sell this thing at $110,000, I can keep that $19,000 difference? They're like, yeah. Like, good luck. I'm like, oh, game on. So I'm back at college, looking through Craigslist again, trying to find any We Buy Houses person. I go ahead, I set up these appointments like week after week. I'm driving from Pittsburgh to Harrisburg, Pittsburgh to Harrisburg, Pittsburgh to Harrisburg, over and over, meeting up with these guys. Dude, everybody came in at like $92,000, $91,000, $93,000, like right at that mortgage balance.
Yep.
Now I know it's like, oh, they saw how much was remaining. They knew that we were in foreclosure.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they knew that there was, desperate people there. Try to take advantage of it. Eventually, my grandpa stepped in last second and helped us out with the money. So we were able to keep the house and everything.
Still the same house?
Same house, still
That's
there.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's great.
So no,
But ultimately during that process, you were helpful to your family. Which is
I
great.
tried my best.
Yeah. So how did it start for you? Like, so because we got Stephanie buys houses, but like,
Right.
how did you merge from you go from college for 5 days, you're working in a warehouse,
Yeah.
and then it's Stephanie buys houses, and mind you, early 20s.
Yeah.
Still, both of them, which is annoying. I'm just
Yeah.
kidding.
I wish I started right out of high school, honestly.
Me too.
Yeah.
Me too. I do too.
But it's crazy because my mom actually was going to this seminar out at Crown Plaza down in the city, Harrisburg City. And she was supposed to bring my sister with her. It was a real estate seminar. My sister didn't want to go, so I was like, all right, I'll go. I went down there. They started talking about wholesaling
Was this
and
a Zach
investing.
thing?
No.
Okay.
It was like a Shark Tank thing,
Oh, cool.
honestly.
Oh, really?
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think
My first
Kevin?
one was a Fan Merrill.
Family. Okay, yeah, I don't know. But yeah, I went and I was just very intrigued with everything. And they sell you on the first day. And I honestly think, I don't know. I think my mom did purchase that day. I don't know if it was a day later or something. And then we went to this 3-day event. And it was like a boot camp. And we were there every single day. And literally every night I could not sleep because my brain just kept going and going from the information I was learning. So it was actually a blessing that my sister didn't go, just
'cause
so.
look where you're sitting today.
It's crazy, yeah. So after that event, they try to sell you again. And you just go in more debt. And we didn't go, she didn't buy into it even more. But that just sparked something in me. Yeah. So I started going to YouTube University, looking up different things. I found out Wholesale to Million, King Kong. I don't know if you guys heard of him.
I haven't heard of that, no.
Okay. He always, what does he say? What's his phrase? Let's go get this money. Yeah, so I was
Sounds like John when he was a street pharmacist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
On his pager.
My problem was I broke one of the 10 crack commandments.
Oh, no.
You never get high on your own supply. Anyway, keep going.
Oh, no.
That is one of the
And by the way, as a reminder, I am almost 16 years sober. And it saved my
go.
life. It saved my life.
go.
And a lot of people do reach out to me asking for help. I do speak at rehabs. I do a ton of work in sobriety because it is
That's
important.
awesome.
But I can look back and joke on some of the stuff that I did do, knowing that it did make me who I am today.
Yeah.
But ultimately, street pharmacy is not funny. But anyway,
So,
no, I'm
into real
laughing a
estate.
little bit. I just need you guys to know it's not like the most humorous, but we can joke about it now. But go ahead.
But yeah, so after that, YouTube University, then it kind of lit that fire. So I was like, let me start calling and stuff, get some deals. And I would call. I was a little bit nervous at that time, but my mom was there too. So like we were kind of doing it together. Nothing really happened and it kind of died off. And then that's when, I went to to college hack, right? I eventually dropped out, told my parents I'm dropping out.
What were you going for while you were at Hack, by the way? Just business?
It's kind of crazy. So, like, I started as an orthopedic, I wanted to be an orthopedic doctor, so biology, pre-med, just because of the money, but I hate, like, blood, so I get nauseous, so.
That's funny.
Yeah. But then I transferred to business,
Okay.
And then I'm like, why am I in a business class when this professor never even owned a business?
Yeah.
And it just...
Oh, see, that's,
So I was like, I got to get out of here. And after that, after I dropped out of college, 7 days a week, working as a caregiver, working at the warehouse and everything. And then, COVID happened. I had a feeling I wasn't going to be at the warehouse long because I have asthma, and it just, that lavender was not good for that. So I left the warehouse. Then with COVID happening, I stopped the caregiving job. I'm like, I don't know what I'm about to do. I have no college degree, no plan. So I was low-key, like, depressed a little bit. But I just started turning to the Word, the Bible, diving deeper with God. And that's when he led me to real estate. I'm literally just scrolling on Zillow, and the thought of just go be a real estate agent.
Yep.
So that's when I told my parents, and I got my real estate license 29 days later. And during that time, even though I knew about wholesaling and stuff and the investing side of things, I kind of put that on the back burner.
Yeah.
And I was just focused on being a real estate agent. But once I got my real estate license, everybody thinks it's easy, and you start getting deals off the bat.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, like...
It's like a 5% survivor rate right now.
Oh, yeah.
It's bad.
It's really
It's rough.
Yeah.
And I thought I was going to get a lot of deals and stuff. I mean, I was making 400 calls like the second day. Like, I was all in. And the third month of being in the business, I was like, maybe I should do this wholesaling side of things because the agent stuff doesn't seem to be working out. So I would wholesale on and off. Nothing's happening. Then I was like, all right, let me focus on being an agent.
Yeah.
Do you remember like what your pitch was for an agent? Is it different than what we did for wholesaling? Like,
Yes, I would
in what
do
way?
Ricky Caruth's script.
Well,
It was like a circle prospecting script. You know what circle prospecting is? I forget. It was like, a house just sold in your neighborhood. I was wondering if I could do anything for you.
Right.
Something simple along the lines of
Which
that.
isn't a terrible thing to say.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, did you know you probably have 150K in equity in your home or something like
So
that?
I've
Right.
never done cold calls.
Yeah.
And I wanted to, one thing I want to say about you was when I watch your videos and I see you make your phone calls, like, I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
Like, it is not my cup of tea. Like, I'm referral-based business mainly, and my clientele and past clients and sphere of influence and friends and family has built the business that I have, and I'm so forever grateful for that. So when I see people like you two, or even somebody that works at like Sam's Club, like think about those people that are trying to sell like
Oh, the tools
Verizon
and
Oh,
stuff.
yeah.
or whatever, anything.
I've seen the guys
like,
at
I'm
Home
like,
Depot try to sell tools to people.
my gosh, could you imagine? I couldn't imagine doing that. Like, I would be so deathly afraid. And when I watch the videos you guys do it, I'm like, it takes a lot of balls. You guys do a great job with
We
it.
used to do that. We used to go to Walmart and just go up to people. Literally. Like, we have videos
complete
on that.
strangers.
That is
Like, that's what I'm
tough.
saying. Like, you guys doing those things is something I could never handle. So for you to be able to do that, like, you're very strong people for that. And that's one of the things when I started watching more and more of your videos, I'm like, wow. I say that a lot when I watch your videos, like, because the phone calls you make, I'm like, I ain't doing that.
It gets bad because there's harsh people. Someone told me, a couple weeks ago, someone was like, you need to die or something.
Oh, yeah.
Like, they go crazy.
I've gotten the death things too. Yeah.
What?
I got this one guy figured out where I lived. It was like, I know your mom. I know you. He was like, I'm coming. Watch out.
Over a cold call?
Over a cold call.
They go
Well, it was
crazy over cold calls.
It was actually a probate lead, so
okay.
it was a little more sentimental.
Sure.
I can understand where he's coming from. And I was like, sorry, dude. Like,
Yeah, it's tough.
Yeah.
yeah, like he was like full on Terminator at this point.
That's crazy. It's very insane to me hearing your story, Stephanie, though, because I think you and I had like almost the exact same experience. It's so weird.
Yeah.
Like when you were describing like, oh yeah, so COVID happened. That's exactly when I started getting
really?
interested. Yeah,
I didn't
because
know that.
so yeah, I'll give you the very brief of it. But basically, I got sent home. I was working at Giant Corporate right after I graduated college as a business analyst. It was a very bottom of the rung on the totem pole in a corporation.
Yeah.
And I had like a kind of panic attack from working there because I felt like I was trapped in the office all day, and I hate feeling trapped and like I can't do stuff.
Right.
And then we got sent home during COVID. I got licensed because I looked up careers that make people happiest, and real estate was always toward the top.
No way.
And that's how I
feel
got
like it
interested in
shouldn't be at the top.
Yeah,
It is for the 5% that survive.
that's right. Yeah.
The 95, they're
Survivors
they
should
don't
buy us,
vote.
or whatever
Yeah.
it is. Yeah, the 95% don't vote.
Yeah.
That's definitely true. But anyway, so yeah, it's just funny because I got on the YouTube University right
Yeah.
after college and after I got sent home from work and everything. And yeah, it's so funny hearing your story because we did the almost exact same thing.
Yeah,
It's
no,
really
that's
cool though.
awesome.
And how's your mom? She's still very influential on what you're doing, and
Yeah.
does she do a little bit of this with you still?
She was actually going to get her license before I even got mine, but then she
Wow.
took a step back. But now she's thinking about getting it again. Yeah.
What's her name?
Carla?
Yeah, go Carla.
Yeah.
Get that license.
Shout out Carla.
Seriously. I just think it's really neat where you guys like have come from at such a young age, because really you see my generation, there's a lot of hardworking people.
Mm-hmm.
Your generation, we see a lot of I think it's like polar opposites. Either like they're really hardworking, like you guys are above and beyond 99% of 23-year-olds.
Appreciate it.
You really are. And
Thank you.
I'm never jealous of that because I don't really carry that. But when I look back, I'm like, my gosh, because I had the brains to do it. I just couldn't get out of my own way.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's such a cool
You're your
experience.
biggest enemy.
100%.
Yeah.
Still am today.
Yeah.
But I just think it's so cool when I get to see people like you. And when I did get sober and I started, coaching basketball and then coaching at a Christian school and doing this, and I'm looking at these kids and the opportunities that they have that I never had, there's nothing but joy that I feel in my heart when I see that. It's never like, man, I wish I would have had that. It's not like that for me. It's like, wow, I really hope that these kids hold on to this
Right.
and move forward with it, because the opportunities that they're getting, even the ones that Zach got, his dad's a pastor.
Yep.
He's a youth
awesome.
pastor,
Yeah.
former youth pastor.
Yeah, I
as
was a
well.
youth pastor the last 2 years.
Nice.
Yeah, while doing real estate.
I never got any of that. And when I see it, it's just like, man, I love it. So when I saw you back there the first couple times, and then I started like I said, watching your videos and seeing what you guys are doing, I just think it's really freaking cool. Now, one of the things that I bet has been kind of fun and weird for you, that people think you're a couple.
Oh, yeah.
All the time.
Did that start with the podcast or just working?
Just working,
Yeah.
I would say. Yeah.
Because they started thinking Zach was into older men when we started the podcast.
No one said that, John. I knew he was going to say that too. I was waiting for it. I was like, people think that about us too.
They think he's into old dudes.
I'm not an old dude.
I'm just kidding.
I was like,
Lissy, I'm sorry I had to.
every single subscriber just clicked off, John. Every single one.
We're out.
Shut it down, Ben. No, but that is something that we encountered quite frequently.
Yeah.
Even
That's
since,
what I thought initially.
ever since the very beginning. It's like, oh, you guys married? You guys dating? It's like, no, just business partners. I feel like that's very rare for people to see, where it's a boy and a girl who are strictly just straight
Yeah.
up partners.
But you feel like a married couple.
Oh my god,
Because
she's up my ass 24/7.
we have our arguments, but it's good though too. Like I'm thankful that we have arguments, just because for the business partners that don't have arguments, it's like you're never gonna grow. And
Well,
when
it turns into
Because you have to
resentment,
challenge one
Yeah.
another.
You do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny. One of my partners, Michelle, people sometimes think I shop for Taylor at this store up the street called Three Little Birds. And
Sat by my window.
what's that? Oh, yeah, I got you. And then I go in there, and then Michelle shops in there, and then the one girl goes, so you and Michelle are a couple? I'm like, no, her husband's name's Todd. I'm not her husband. And then we were at an event for the Senators game. This lady goes, Todd? I had sunglasses on. I was like, no. My comment was, she wishes. Michelle's like, seriously, John? What the hell? But there's nothing wrong with that, because it actually shows that you guys have a connection too.
Yeah.
So I would take it as a compliment.
Yeah,
It's kind of cool.
there's
Yeah, it
definitely
shows
some
you guys
chemistry
work
there.
together.
Yeah.
You haven't killed each other yet. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
So I guess
She's blind.
Did you ever say calm down? Because that's what works in my relationship, when we'd say that to each other.
No.
Calm down,
That
Taylor.
doesn't
We
work.
hype each other
I'm just
up.
kidding.
We
That does
just
not work.
get hyped up, you know?
And honestly, we've never had a big argument.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
there's things where we bicker back and forth, and like one might disagree with the other.
Yeah.
But it's never gotten to that point of like escalating where it's like,
Right.
okay, one of us is screaming at another.
No, we don't screw. It's always professional.
And that's the way it should be, because you guys are in it for the same reason.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got into the Novation wholesaling side. You got into kind of agent and sort of dipping your toes
Right.
into investing and all that stuff. When did you guys decide, like, oh, maybe we should work together and create something different? Did
So-
Stephanie's Buys Houses exist before or after, or how did that
No,
happen?
so it started before we even met. I actually met with another investor at his commercial property. He walked me through it just so I can like learn, the game a little bit. And we sat down, and he was like, Stephanie, what are your goals? I was like, I want 30 by 30, which, 30 rental properties by 30.
Right.
And he was like, well, how are you going to do that with what you're doing right now? I was like, that's a good question. How am I going to do that? Because I was just working with buyers at the time, driving around. Like, how am I going to scale with that? So he literally set out a game plan. We went into the conference room. He started taking notes all on the whiteboard. I'm over here just taking notes too. And he was like, you got to stop working with buyers. Focus on listings, though, because all you got to do is the paperwork up front, basically. Yeah. During that time, it was so much easier to sell listings.
It's so pretty easy right now.
Yeah.
It's really easy.
Right.
Well, let me rephrase that. It's not really easy. You just have to do it correctly.
Yeah.
And if you do it correctly and 110%, you're pricing and you're doing everything condition-wise, it makes it easy for your client, but that's because you're putting work in. But go ahead.
Right. And that's when I changed my whole game plan. And he was like, you know, we're going to do like Stephanie buys houses. You're going to take over Harrisburg. And I was just, had a smile on my face.
Yeah.
I had that motivation was just going. So I got the LLC. He was like, I'm going to lend the money. So you do all the marketing work. I'll help with the financing side of things. We're going to partner up and take this thing huge. I went to the bank, got everything ready, got the LLC ready, got the bank account ready. He called me a couple days later. I'm telling him, I'm like, I'm ready to go. I'm ready to cold call and stuff. He's like, I can't do it. This happened, blah, blah, blah. Personal stuff happened. So I was like, okay. At that time.
Punch in the gut.
Yeah, it was like a sad thing. But then I was like, no, everything happens for a reason. Mm-hmm. I'm still going full force with this. So I still changed that business model, stopped working with buyers, just referred them out. And then I think it may have been like a month after that. That's when, a month or a couple of weeks after, Skyler hit me up.
Yeah. So at the time, I moved in with I think I was living with Brooke at the time when I first hit you up initially. Mm-hmm. So I was living with my ex-girlfriend at the time. I was working at Target with her and her father, actually. He just did it part-time. He's also air traffic controller. Love that guy. But I was there for like 2 years. And I was like, what am I doing? Like, I was working third shift. I was going in at 2 a.m.
At Target?
At Target.
Wow.
2 a.m. to 10:30, 12:30, somewhere around there. And I'm still my irresponsible self, so I'm not going to bed till midnight. I'm running off of like an hour and a half of sleep. It's 5 days a week. I was killing myself. And I was still young at the time. Like,
you're still young, just so you know.
I don't feel it anymore.
Yeah, you are. Well, it only gets worse.
I still work in a warehouse, too.
Do you do now? Well, I know you work till 3 today, right?
Yeah, every day.
Yeah, okay. That's what I thought.
2:30. Close enough.
Yeah, same thing.
Right. So, yeah, I was at Target. I just kept thinking to myself, like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, why? I know what I want to do. I've been wanting to do the same thing since I was in middle school. Why am I here? Mm-hmm. And it was just that comfortable path. It's like, okay, I moved out of my house. That's a step. Working at Target, that's a step. It's not in the step in the right direction, though. It's not, getting to a point wherever I want to go. And eventually, one day, I was back on Zillow, and I think I went for a driving for dollars list, started cold calling and everything, just hand dialing everything. I didn't have, like, the software programs necessary to accomplish a mass quantity. But I knew that Stephanie had gotten her license at this time.
Because I told him, before I even got my license, I was like, yo, we should get our license. Because it's always fun doing it with someone else.
Correct, yeah.
He was like, I got this W-2 job. I'm going to just stick this out and then invest later down the road. I was like, all right.
That was kind of my plan.
You're lost.
Like, save
I was just joking. I didn't say that.
You're lost. You thought it, though. You're lost.
I was like, I'm going
back.
But yeah, no,
why'd the bubble disappear?
She hung up this idiot. Come on,
he'll figure it out one day. Yeah. No, that was my plan though. Like, honestly, just save enough money working at W-2, go more traditional route in investing. Even though I had learned, I learned about like all the wholesaling, the fix and flipping. That's like what I really wanted to get into, like designing my own houses and stuff like that. And for whatever reason, my brain just went full on traditional. It's like save up money, 20% down.
Boring.
As hell.
Well, you said it, comfortable path. Like people, and some people are happy with that comfortable, easy path.
You got to be comfortable in uncomfortable situations.
I agree. But some people, they're like, you know what? This is my life. I'm okay with this. I'm going to work this 9 to 5. I'm going to be very happy doing it.
Right.
Well,
and that's
I gotta
okay.
say, good for you. It's not me.
Yeah.
That's
some people literally don't
real.
have the risk tolerance. Like I know some people get,
true.
There's I don't know if you guys ever learned this, but there's like eustress and de-stress. And if you feel like you have the tools for something, it's like eustress, like it fuels you. And I think all of us kind of have that.
Yep.
Yeah.
But if you feel like you don't have the tools and knowledge for something, it can be distress. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. This is stressing me out. Like, I need something else. And so I feel like a lot of people look at these risky situations we put ourselves in and think like, I could never do that. That is so stressful. I don't want any part of that.
Yeah,
So,
you guys both have decided.
It's kind of exciting.
yeah,
It
that's
is
how I
exciting.
feel too.
Yeah.
That's because we see it as eustress, right?
and you're willing to fail forward. Like, listen, I'm going to, like you failed on your first one. So
I
what?
failed on the second one.
Did you learn?
Of course.
That's
I learned in
failing
both
forward.
scenarios.
Yeah, that's an amazing thing. And that's what we have to do. Like, we have to figure out if we're going to do something wrong, like, use it as something you learn from. Like, I can talk, when I speak at a high school, when I'm telling them how I failed in school is so they can learn and not do the same thing. So history doesn't repeat itself for that same person,
Right.
for one of those kids. So they don't do exactly what I did. I can teach you everything not to do.
Yeah.
I'm real good at that. I've done it all. But that's the thing. Like, you guys are decided, like, at such a young age, like, I am not going to do this. I'm not going to work for the man. I'm not going to do the 9 to 5. I'm going to take care of my own wealth.
Yeah.
And that's really neat. Like, because I know my parents weren't able to do that, you know, and my parents both work really, really hard to this day.
Yeah.
And they're amazing for that. That's their lives. But I wanted to do something different.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So, yeah, as I go ahead and I get fired from Target.
Is that a long story too?
Not really.
No, it's okay.
I stole food
Did you really?
every day.
Was it a taco or was it?
No, it was breakfast. It was like those frozen breakfasts. I was figured. I was like, I'm working here. This box of breakfast cost me 1 hour of work. I'm not paying for that.
Just stuff them in your pants.
No, I would go to the self-checkout and I'd have like my energy drink. I'd have a Monster and this frozen meal. This frozen meal was like $9 and the Monster was like $3. So I'd go and pay for the Monster, pretend to check out the frozen meal, throw it in the bag, and then just go to the break room and eat it.
He's a changed man, though, now.
Yeah.
This is old stuff.
So yeah, I mean, quite honestly, I probably saved like damn near $1,000 doing that.
Wow, that is a lot of money.
It was every day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's 5-6 days a week.
And they finally caught you?
Yeah. And then at the end, they're like, yeah, you stole $42 worth of food. I was like, you missed a lot of it, buddy.
Did they give you
Which
the option to
day?
like pay for it?
No, they didn't.
No, they didn't. They were like, you're out.
Yeah, they're like termination. I was there for a little over 2 years as well.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, right after that, I saw that Stefanie had started her first fix and flip. And I was like, that's what I want to do. I was like, how the hell did she get to this point already?
Yeah.
I'm falling behind.
Yeah.
So I hit her up and I was like, hey, oh, actually, no, that's not what happened. I did see that and I was intrigued. And then I went through, started looking on the market. What I wanted to get into was like a house hack scenario because I had saved up some money and I had that W-2 at the
It's the
time.
classic Graham Stefan strat right there.
Right.
Exactly.
Yep.
So I found this one and I thought it was like a hidden gem because it was listed as a single family, but it was a potential 3 unit in Middletown, right down the street from my grandma's house, and it needed a full-on rehab. I was like, Steph, can you come show me this property? Like, I want to go check it out, whatnot. So we go check it out and everything. I forget. I mean, we were still inexperienced at the time. We didn't really have any funds. I didn't have my W-2 anymore, so I couldn't get that pre-approval, everything else. But we were still there. We checked it out. Kind of ran through the numbers, and then as we're there, I'm like, I don't know if you said it first or if I said it first, but one of us was like, you want to just partner
No,
up?
I think that was you. You asked me.
Oh, did
'Cause I didn't even know what I was doing. Like, I was acting like I did. You see that over there, you know?
That's a window.
There's a crack in that wall.
Those are one of the fancy vents right there.
The air goes in this one and out the top one. Pretty sure.
I know, literally. So
I think.
I was like, yeah, you know, I'd be open
I think she
to
even pulled out the old knob and tube wiring, and I was like, I don't know that one.
That's in real estate courses for sure right there. That and asbestos.
You got me there.
Yep.
So yeah, I had brought up, I guess, the partnering situation. She was like, yeah, like I'd love to, talk to you more about this and see what you know already versus what I know. So we met up at a coffee shop just a couple days later, I believe.
Yeah.
She already had like I think you had like the whole business plan already like laid out.
Well, because I reached out to other investors I knew, because I know having a business partnership, sometimes they break up, sometimes it's not good. So I want to make sure it's like a solid foundation.
Yeah.
So reached out, trying to see where his mind was at and stuff. That's why I was like, we should sit down and kind of go over the strengths and the weaknesses and stuff like that.
Right. I feel like our goals aligned very well. Also, it was like your goal at the time was 30 by 30, and my goal was just to be this real estate mogul.
Right.
Like just buy as much as I possibly can and figure it out from there. So yeah, I mean, we went through, kind of just talked about it, and after that day, I mean, speaking of foundation, growing up together, I feel like that already set like a really good
100%.
It's like, I know
There's
who
trust there.
Yeah, you
Right.
know who I am. I know who you are. We know how we could work together potentially. So from there, I mean, yeah, we started the LLC, and then we hopped on the dialer, like started list pulling, driving for dollars.
700 calls a day.
Dude,
Going crazy.
that's a lot of
insane
calls,
to me.
man.
It
I have
was.
trouble making 4.
It was
Yes.
We gotta get you on the dialer.
it was crazy because
Well, no, you don't dial. It just dials for you.
That's crazy.
You just sit, look pretty, and talk.
I can look pretty.
So I want to ask a mini question here too. So I asked you guys this to your one channel too, your Investor Unite channel. I'd written in a question for you guys on one of your Q&As or something.
Yeah.
But I was curious, you know, when you're willing to make 700 calls in a day, like that's something that most realtors will never try, never do, and will put you ahead of most realtors instantly if you're just willing to do that.
Yeah.
So I guess like a mini question for all the realtors listening, because I know we have realtors from our office who listen to this. Why wouldn't you both just try to double down as agents? Why would you stick mostly to investings, novations, wholesaling, all that kind of stuff?
Honestly, I mean, for me, like, I figured out a way to get buyers and stuff and spark the business easily after I started posting on TikTok for the agent side of things. So, like, I could have scaled that really good.
Right.
But the reason I didn't want to was because of, you know, I wanted the 30 by 30 and me driving around buyers. I'm just over here wasting time just for them to like the whole house, but they don't like the rug. So I don't want to make an offer on it. It's like, all right, come on.
Know that one well.
Like, guys, rugs are replaceable. Shut your mouth.
I know.
I don't talk to people like that.
In your mind.
In my mind. Are you kidding me? Yeah. I don't think our couch will fit in here. Get a new couch.
But overall, like, coming into real estate as an agent, everybody thinks you're your own boss, but you're not. Like, I came into business to be my own boss, and having that realization where the buyers and sellers are your boss once you sign that buyer agency and that listing agreement, I was like, I'm not for it. Like, I don't want to show a property on a Sunday when I want to relax with the family and have church and stuff. So yeah, that's why I was like investing all the way.
Gotcha.
And it's funny because, like, for me, I mean, I'm mainly referral based, so it doesn't feel like some of my clients, like right now, I have the Beaver family, and they're some of the most amazing people in the world. And like working with them, they've sold 2, bought 1. One of my best friends recently got divorced, so there was a bunch of sales that went along with that. And it's just, for me, it's like I find joy in that.
Yeah.
Where for you, it's like that's the best part about this business is there's so many different avenues you can make money in, whether it's through insurance, through home inspections, through
So much. Construction,
Title company,
companies, through being a lender, through being, you know, doing what you guys do in wholesaling, to be resale agents, to new construction agents, do commercial. That's what I love about real estate. And the fact that when we talk about, you know, millionaires, which are soon going to be, we're going to have to be only talking about billionaires in probably within the next 10 years.
Inflation.
90% of billionaires, 90% of their money comes from real estate,
right?
Like in investing. And that's one of the things that I've gotten to learn over time was like, wow, if you really do this correctly, you can really take care of yourself and your family. And create a new path and new stars for yourself, which is the coolest thing in the world. And you guys are doing it at such a young age. And you are too. You're a young guy. I mean, you started this when you were 26.
I want to say 25 or 26. It was. I know I got my license in 2021.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I've been 26. Yeah.
Time flies by. It's
I know.
crazy.
Yeah. I have gray hair now because I got my license.
that's because you hang out with that guy too much.
That's what it's rubbing off. Like, keep it away.
So I know we're hitting the hour mark. Okay.
And we still got a lot to spill.
A
lot of tea. Give me all the tea.
And the cool thing is we get to go do a listing appointment for Zach today. It's 50 acres.
Yeah, 50 acre property. 50 acre property.
Where's that at?
It's above Lingelstown. It's like north of Lingelstown.
No way.
So I have 20. Where I live is 20 acres. So I live 10 minutes from here. That's why I was 10 minutes late because I left on time. So anyway, so what do you guys think for like? Where do you see your future? Like, because we want to know like some of the things that I've heard from you that are really great is like, listen. If you have a dream, go for it. If the doors open up, walk through them. You know, don't be complacent. You know, don't be afraid to fail because you can make changes through your life to do that. So what do you think's big for you guys next? And anything you want to tell somebody that's 17 that's working in a bounce house that wants to buy their first piece of real estate? Like anything
it's
you guys
a
want to
trampoline
talk
park,
about.
John, not a bounce house.
The same thing. I have no idea. These are all after my time as a kid. We had Atari.
I'll finish your question first.
No, you're good. Yeah.
Okay, so follow up with that. Why I didn't get my agent's license?
Yes.
Honestly, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
I read the book.
I love that book.
I was like, I want to make the most money possible. be an investor. Don't work for somebody. So that was kind of my mindset going into it. And I knew that being a realtor, there's a lot that you would have to disclose about whenever you were trying to do these transactions through wholesaling, novations, fix and flip, buy and hold, everything like that. And she already had her license, so she already has access to the MLS.
Yep.
That kind of gave me no reason of why I needed to get mine at that point. And that's just kind of where we stood from the beginning.
So the agent part really never interested you?
It did in the beginning. Back in like that middle school time frame, I was like, I see the broker's checks and everything. And then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was about 14.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, I need to invest.
Yeah.
So then that's when I really stumbled into like Bigger Pockets and just binge watching every episode of that, to be honest. So that's kind of why I never did that. As far as what's some advice that I would give to my 17-year-old self, honestly, do exactly what I did. Like, get out there and figure it out. Dude, you're not going to do it right the first time. Or the second time.
Yep.
Probably not the third, fourth, fifth, sixth. It's going to take you 10, 20 tries.
Unless you have a mentor.
Unless you have a mentor.
It'll speed it up.
It will. But
It can, yeah.
Yeah, no, at the end of the day, like everyone, it's very cliche to say. Like everyone says, just take action.
Yeah.
Dude, it's freaking true.
Yeah,
It's like,
it is true.
if you don't take action, and you have to find the opportunities. It's like everyone also just says, like, you know, the opportunity's there for you. Like, just wait for it to come. Blah, blah, blah. No.
You can't just sit around and wait for the phone to ring.
You
It don't
can't.
work like that.
Like, you got to go figure it out. Like, I knew Stefanie, so I already had, like, a good relationship there. And I saw she was doing her first fix and flip. She was never going to reach out to me like, hey, you want to partner on a fix and flip? I knew it was like, oh, no, she's doing what I want to do. Reach out to her. That's an opportunity. Ask her to show me this house. I never had the intention of really partnering with you at that time. But I was like, this is how I can get my foot in the door and at least learn from your experience. And then, you know, one thing leads to another. Now we're partners who own a rental portfolio. We've done fix and flips, novations, wholesales.
By the grace of
We got,
God.
we got a podcast.
That's awesome.
And
man.
we're doing a lot more behind the scenes, too, that we haven't discussed yet.
Yeah. I want to hear about some of the big projects and stuff coming up. Because I always believe that, you know, if you guys are anything like us, you're planning bigger stuff.
There's more stuff.
Yeah.
There's always more to come.
Good.
Yeah, I guess that definitely relates to, number one, having that mentor, because that's really what helped us, you know, speed up our process of getting that first deal, leading to the next one.
Definitely.
I read the book called Who Not How. Have you heard of that?
No.
I've heard of that.
It's really good, where it's like, you don't ask yourself, like, how do I make this money? How do I scale this business? Find who's done that.
Oh,
You know,
who,
go
not
to
how,
them,
yeah.
just like, you know, you were saying, go to them, learn from them, get their game plan and their blueprint, and just copy and paste. That's all you got to do, and that's going to help, you know, set that good foundation
You're
for
gonna
you to
save
scale.
100 amount of your time.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you have to pay for that mentorship. You got to pay to play sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes if people are seeing you hustling, they're going to want to come and reach out, you know, for free and say, I'll mentor you for free. Sometimes we had that actually happen because they would see my social media.
Yep.
And they're like, I love what you're doing. I'd love to help you.
That's
So-
exactly what happened to me, too.
Yeah.
Sorry to chime in, but yeah, I got so many agents who had been in the business 10, 15, 20 years hitting me up saying, Zach, I see you hustling. I see you trying to make YouTube and stuff. That's
Yeah.
so cool. Let me help you with the real estate part of it.
It's perfect.
And you can help me with the social media part of it or something like that.
Yeah.
Right.
So that's
That's
the main
exactly
thing.
how we got our first mentor.
Right.
He had Stefanie up because she had a social media following.
go.
It's like, I need help with social media, and
Yeah.
I've kind of done already what you guys are hoping to do.
Yeah,
So,
it was very humbling to me in the beginning to have people that like kill it in the business asking me for help as a young, you know, just starting out, having done like maybe 3 houses at that point. It was very surreal.
Man, I mean, even when I asked you, it was really neat. Like,
Yeah.
Just to like reach out and be like, hey.
I think the
like
first
what
time
you're
we
doing.
talked, I don't even know if I had sold 10 houses yet.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you've
That's
done a
awesome.
really great job this year, too.
thanks.
Like, he's hammering it right
Let's
now.
go.
Yeah. We're trying our best. We're trying our best.
And I just think it's really neat. Like, you guys are really, like I said, you're planning, and the mentor thing's really big for me. So I have come to find out, especially over the last like 12, 24 months, that there's a lot of people that are very successful that want to help people and they don't charge. And that's one of the reasons I like doing service work. You know, I'm not getting paid to do this, but I want to help agents. I want to help people that need help with whether it's drugs, alcohol, things like that, because I know that by giving, it's only going to make me a stronger person.
Yeah.
It helps me. It helps them. And there's a lot of fulfillment in that for me. So like finding a mentor, and like I said, especially when we joined Keller Williams, like the mentors that are available in our networks that are willing to do stuff because they care as humans, not because they care for the money, is mind-boggling. Like I have a new one right now, a lady named Andrea. She's been phenomenal for me. And she's just another person in my arsenal that I can reach out to and say, hey, listen, can you help me with this business plan? Can you help me do this? Can you help me do that? And I think that's the biggest key, because in 5-10 years, you guys are going to be doing that for people your age.
Oh yeah.
Over and over again.
We already have people reaching out to us who,
And
we
it's fun.
went to school with. They see what we're doing, and they're like,
Yeah,
cool,
bring
isn't
them
it?
to the office.
That's so cool.
Sometimes.
It's gotta be humbling. Right?
Sometimes.
But it's humbling and it's great. And it's only going to make you a better person, a better salesperson. Whatever you're doing is just going to make you better no matter what. So,
yeah.
So I'm really grateful you guys were on today.
Thank
Because
you.
I really
It's a
guys
great
having
experience
us
to be on
on.
this side of the table.
Yeah, I wanted to get to know you guys more, because honestly, I get to see you guys walk through here, and I like when you walk through, we're in the middle of a podcast. I think that's the cool part.
We just tiptoe.
Tiptoe through it. It's like, oh, there's Steph.
Yeah.
Someday we'll have to do like a behind the scenes. Yeah.
So, yeah, thank you. We really appreciate it.
Oh,
Where can people find you guys at?
Yeah, so we have our podcast, Investors Unite, and then also Instagram, Stefanie Kabidi, also on YouTube and Facebook, TikTok. Yeah.
Yep.
TikTok. I'm on the TikTok. Aren't I, Ben?
I got to check out your TikTok.
Yeah.
Well, Ben does it for me, so there you go.
Okay, there you
If you like it, it's mine. If you don't, Ben's doing it. All right, so thank you. Episode 26, man.
26. We did it.
Crazy.
I
Let's
know.
go.
Yeah. And I'm
it
really
up.
glad you guys were on this episode. It means a lot
Thank
to
you.
us, so.
Thank you.
Thank you guys so much.
It was a pleasure.